And here right now to introduce our speaker is our Assistant District Governor, Leanne Chrisman. Leanne.
Good afternoon, everybody. It is my pleasure to introduce to you Mark Roberts. Mark was born and raised in Alameda, and his first encounter with Rotary was as a founding member and second president of Rotaract Club of the University of San Francisco in the late 70s. In Rotary District 5160, Mark was assistant governor for 2 years in the La Miranda Fab 5 clubs, and he held positions with District Rotary Foundation Committee. He was selected to the district governor line in May 2018 and began his year as district governor this past July 1st. Mark and his wife Claire recently celebrated their 35th wedding anniversary last June, and they've lived in Orinda since 1993. Now, I reached out to Claire, Mark, to get a little bit more information on you, a little bit of dirt on you. And she tells me that you are a history buff and like looking at old maps. In fact, her words were, give Mark a map and he can find a corner to sit in and review it for a long time. She said that puttering in the garden is a big stress release for you, and that you're a big car guy and you're very interested in trains and planes, yet you're not a pilot. So we do have some pilots in the club. Maybe you can get a few lessons here. This next one I love. Mark has an adopted godfather. Wouldn't every one of you love an adopted godfather? John, let me see if I can get this right, Pedroncelli. And by the way, that's a Pedroncelli winery in Geyserville. And his godfather introduced him to wine at a very young age. In fact, somewhere around age 12, I believe. I'm not sure how your parents felt about that. And he has loved wine ever since. In addition to wine, he enjoys scotch. But the best thing about Mark, he's a lifelong San Francisco Giants fan. Yay, let's go, Mark. So please join me in welcoming 2020-2021 District 5160 Governor Mark Roberts.
Oh, thanks so much, Leanne, for that introduction. I really appreciate it. President Mark, thank you very much for having me here today, and good afternoon, Chico Rotarians. I've been looking forward to this meeting for a long time, because I've heard so much about the Chico Club over the years since I became a Rotarian, and how influential this club is in the community. And the more I learn, the more I realize that's so true. And I really appreciate everything that you're doing, especially during this, which is a rather challenging year for all of us in Rotary, but you guys are coming through with flying colors. This actually is the first not totally Zoom meeting that I've been attending in terms of being an official district governor visit. So I'm really enjoying this, and I'm very grateful to Jessica Shepard for her superb technical skills. And also, I'll tell you, if I could, I would take Rob and Brent with me on the road and be my warm-up act for every single Rotary Zoom meeting, because these guys do a great job. But I know that it's very Chico specific, and probably you charge more than the district could possibly afford. So it's not in the budget. That's all there is to it. You work for lunch, okay, all right, or breakfast or dinner, depending upon when the club meets. Anyway, when I attended the International Assembly with the other 530 incoming district governors in San Diego last January, we met the now Rotary International President Holger Knock, and we were introduced to the theme for this year, which is Rotary Opens Opportunities. Over the past 6-7 months, that has changed a little bit in terms of the opportunities that have been opened. But looking at the clubs here in District 5160, I'm very, very proud of them for the opportunities that they have created for themselves and that they're providing to others. Virtually all the clubs in the district are meeting via Zoom, although there is increasing interest in creating hybrid meetings like you have here, because there are some folks who really would love to get back together, but others who still are very reluctant to do so. So the whole idea is the Zoom meetings right now are keeping us connected. Gee, that sounds like last year's theme. Okay, moving on. So we are trying to find ways to keep Rotarians working together, connected. I love the R1 project the Chico Club is doing. That's a great idea to remind individual Rotarians there are lots of things that you can do individually that really can provide a service to your neighbors, to your community, to Rotary in general. So that is really great. I also feel very honored to be here in Studio 100 as you're in the midst of your centennial year. That's quite an honor. I'm sorry you weren't able to kick it off in this last April, but I'm looking forward to next April 1st in 2021 for the official centennial celebration of the Chico Club. That's going to be really exciting, and I think we're all looking forward to that. Hopefully we'll be here in person. This year, District 5160 is looking at some particular goals and objectives. The first one, from my perspective, really has to do with member retention. And that is the fact that our most important customers are our club members. Some folks think it's the people we serve, our fellow community members, but it really is us as Rotarians. And it's not just the president who's taking good care of the Rotarians, it's each of us taking good care of each other by being appreciative of what we do, of being respectful, of really asking for input, finding out what makes the Rotary experience so meaningful and rewarding for you, for each of us, and then finding out and incorporating that into the planning for the club. From what my research, what I've done over the past few weeks getting ready for this visit, the Chico Club does an exceptionally good job of doing that. For one thing, you've already added 5 new members since July 1st. That's fantastic. You were at 174, you're now at 179. That's terrific. I'm also very grateful for your incredible support of the Rotary Foundation, because in 2019, 2020, that'd be last year, during Glenn Eaton's year's presidency, you were a 100% every Rotarian every year club. Thank you very much. And you were a 91.5% sustaining member club, which means an average donation of $100 or more. So thanks so much for that, because even though we may not be able to get together and do as many of the in-person projects right now locally as we would like, your generous support of the Rotary Foundation makes it possible for those grants to enable projects throughout the world, as well as here in Northern California. So thanks very much for that support. And just keep on recognizing you are the most important people, because without Rotarians there wouldn't be any Rotary clubs, and without Rotary clubs there wouldn't be any Rotary projects. So it all starts with each one of you. Next up, I'd like to find a way that we can grow Rotary. And there are a couple different ways we'd like to look at that. As I think most of you are aware, we unfortunately have been experiencing a decline in membership among the clubs here in North America, primarily in the United States and Canada. This year, just here in District 5160, we started the year on July 1st with 104 fewer members than we did the previous year. You guys, as I said, Chico is bucking the trend. I want you to keep up the great work. But we need to find ways that we can reach out to folks who either have had a great Rotary experience, or maybe you're just not familiar with what Rotary is. One of the things I'd like to do is find a way that we can really keep in touch, either better connect with or reconnect with the young people who have been touched by Rotary projects or Rotary programs. You guys do a great job here. Both Chico and Pleasant Valley High Schools have Interact clubs, which is great. You have the first community-based Rotaract club here in District 5160. There are a lot of folks who said, oh, the community-based Rotaract clubs won't work in the United States. We only have college and university-based clubs. Well, Chico proved us wrong, because the club that was at CSU Chico converted into a community-based club and is really doing great work. You also have the JARS program, which I think is fantastic, and I'm using as an example when I visit other clubs to say, yes, there are ways that you can attract younger people into Rotary. And JARS is a great example. I'm hoping more clubs will be reaching out to Mark and other folks here in the Chico Club to find out how well that works for you. But also we have Youth Exchange, we have Camp Royal, we have Camp Venture. So we have scholarship recipients. So we have lots of young people throughout the district who have already had a very positive Rotary experience through one of these youth programs. And I'm asking every club to really try to, within obviously the limits that are placed upon us in terms of privacy, we're dealing with young people, to try to stay in touch with them and just keep them focused on the fact that Rotary really meant something to them, and it can in the future as well. So try to take advantage of the opportunities that you've already created with the great youth programs here in Chico, and keep in touch with those young people, and hopefully we'll see some of them as future Rotarians. Another way I'd like to look at growing Rotary is reaching out to communities, whether it's cities and towns or groups of people who maybe have never really thought about Rotary as being meaningful or appropriate to them. And this could be people from various ethnic or cultural groups. It could be something where look at an LGBTQ club, which was first started in San Francisco, or a cause-based club, people who are very focused on a particular project. For example, now we have the 7th area of focus that was just added this year for the Rotary Foundation, and that is supporting the environment. So there are opportunities there to maybe think about groups that haven't found Rotary to be relevant or meaningful to them, and find ways that we connect with them, either in our existing clubs or looking at the possibility of starting a new club. Maybe an evening club here in Chico. I don't know if that's ever been considered, either as a satellite club or as another possibility. But just looking at ways that we can extend the Rotary invitation to new folks. One of the best ways to do that, I believe, is by telling your Rotary story. I mean, a lot of us, when we became members, we were told that, yes, there are 1.2 million members, there are 35,000 clubs around the world. We do wonderful work. But I think for a lot of folks, what really makes more of an impression upon them is finding out what makes Rotary special to you. If you're having a one-on-one conversation with somebody, a business colleague or associate, a neighbor, a friend, somebody that you know shares your passion for and interest in community service, giving back to the community, helping people, let them know about why Rotary is special to you. What was your Rotary moment? What was that experience that really made you feel like, yeah, this is something that's really rewarding, that's something that really makes me feel like I'm part of something really big and really special. That's what people want to hear. Part of my story is that shortly after I joined the Lumber into Sunrise Club in 2009, the members of the Lunch Club in Orinda, where I live, started getting a hold of me saying, "Why didn't you join our club?" I had a pretty simple response: nobody asked me. So I'm just thinking, when you look at somebody who, like you, has that interest, that passion, please don't pass up that opportunity to bring that person to a meeting, to a Zoom meeting, to a lunch meeting when you guys can get back together again at the Elks Lodge. Because again, I think it's that personal connection you can establish with somebody that will let them know why Rotary is great for them, and why it's great for you. Couple of things we have coming up here in the district that I'm really excited about. The first one will be happening on Saturday, October 3rd. It will be our first virtual district seminar. While we'll be focused on the 3 essential elements of membership, public image, and branding, and also the Rotary Foundation, we'll also be touching on other subjects that I think are of great importance to the clubs right now, and that is keeping the Zoom meetings fresh and interesting, and also finding new ways to conduct fundraising events so that you can have the revenue to support the projects and programs that really are important to you. So we'll also have some special webinars on those topics coming up throughout the fall. The other thing I'm even more excited about, especially since we were unable to have a district conference in Reading last May as planned, is the district conference planned in Sacramento coming up on April 30th through May 2nd. The theme of that district conference is all aboard. And yes, I'm a bit of a railroad buff, as has been disclosed, and Sacramento has a very rich railroad history, but we'll be in a hotel right next to Old Sacramento. We're planning our Friday evening event at the California Railway Museum, but we're also looking at the other aspect of all aboard. Again, trying to reach out to folks who just have not connected to Rotary in the past, and trying to say, we want you to get on this train with us and enjoy the ride. So those are some things that are coming up. There are some folks here in Chico who I really want to thank specifically for their role in district leadership. And the first one, of course, is Leanne Chrisman. Just about a year ago, I asked Leanne to become a district governor, and I really appreciate the wonderful job she's done working with the 2 Chico, the Durham, Paradise, and Calusa Rotary Club. She's done a magnificent job, and I really appreciate all her time and effort. Second, I want to thank Val Redeman, who has accepted the role as our branding and public image chair. This is really important in terms of growing Rotary, because this is how we reach out to people and have them better understand what Rotary looks like, what our symbols are, what our mission is, what our projects are, and Val and her committee are doing a really fabulous job as we move forward this year. And finally, I really want to thank Walt Schaefer. Walt did an incredible job the past 2 years, and in his 3rd year now, as the chair of the grant review panel. The job this past year was especially difficult because even though we thought there might be fewer clubs applying for district grants, there were actually a record-breaking 31 clubs that applied for grants for this year. The challenge was the total dollar amount requested was over $3 million, and we only had about $185,000 to distribute. So they spent a lot of time. There were a lot of impassioned conversations, but recognition about how they could best do this. And I'm really pleased that they were able to provide grants to 26 of those 31 clubs. There was for the $185,000. So not everybody got everything they wanted, but most of the clubs got something, which was great. And those grants, I think, really make a difference in terms of having people recognize why the Rotary Foundation exists to, in terms of both giving and getting. Anyway, that's what's going on here in locally. Things I'm very happy about in worldwide Rotary Developments. I'm thrilled that over the past week, the entire continent of Africa was declared free of the wild polio virus. That's an incredible accomplishment. They've been free of that for 4 years now. There was a little flare-up in Nigeria, but that has since been quelled. And we are back to having just two other countries with endemic wild polio virus. That's Afghanistan and Pakistan. So I'm hoping you'll also continue your support of the Polio Plus program so that we truly can end polio now or as quickly as possible. The other thing I'm truly thrilled about was the selection just recently of Jennifer Jones as the president nominee, the world president, Rotary International president nominee. She will be the first woman to serve in that capacity during the 2022-23 year. I've had the pleasure of meeting Jennifer on a couple of occasions as I trained to become district governor, and she is truly an amazing individual, Rotarian, and will be a fantastic leader of our organization. And I think will really, speak volumes to folks about the importance that women have played in Rotary since they were first welcomed in 1987. So that's what's going on. What I'd like to do now with Jessica and Rob's help is open it up to questions and provide answers. I'd also welcome suggestions or concerns that you may have about what's going on in District 5160. And just once again, thank you very much for letting me join you today. I really appreciate it.
I've got a question.
Jude.
Are there some concrete reasons why the club may be shrinking? So you gave some good examples about how the club can iterate and adjust and become more relevant to more people. But are there any studies of common threads about what's causing the club to shrink?
Well, I mean, in terms of Rotary, especially here in North America.
Yes.
I mean, a lot of it is we are aging. I mean, a great deal of it is that we are aging and we're just not, in many respects, replacing ourselves with younger members. So that's why we're trying to find new ways to really connect with younger people and help them realize that since so many of them really have a desire to help. I mean, many of them, many millennials really have demonstrated a desire to get out there and do things that are helpful in their community. It's just that they probably have never thought about Rotary as being the mechanism or the structure they can use to do that. And so we're trying to find ways that we can make that connection. That's why I'm thinking that with the many youth programs we have, if we can keep in touch with young people who have already had a great experience with Rotary, that we can find a way to keep them connected and have them stay involved with Rotary in some capacity or another going forward. I'll just mention also, we keep saying 1.2 million members, even though membership has declined in North America and Europe, membership is increasing in Asia, Africa, and South America. So that's one of the reasons why North America lost a board seat about a year ago to on the board. So we now have only three board members on the RI board from North America. So it's something we can do. I'm very confident of this because I just think it's what we need to do, and it's something I know we can do in terms of reaching out and welcoming younger people. Rob, go ahead, please.
Yes. Thank you for speaking. And I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about the October 3rd event. I know that for me, I'm still a relatively new Rotarian, only a couple of years in. Getting to the district events has always been kind of tricky. And with one of the things with all this virtual meeting stuff is it's actually making it easier to consider this, but I don't know quite what to expect. So what sort of things will be happening in October?
Okay, Rob, good question. And by the way, unless I'm mistaken, the invitation went out yesterday. The invitation went out by P-mail, which is the DAC-DB method to reach all Rotarians in the district, inviting them to join the assembly. We're going to have workshops. We're going to have breakouts. Again, we'll be looking at membership, the Rotary Foundation, brand and public image, but also those other topics that I mentioned in terms of trying to further develop the Zoom meeting format, and also ways that we can help clubs with virtual fundraisers. So I mean, it's all free. It's going to be happening just about 2.5 hours on the morning of Saturday, October 3rd. So we're really hoping that you will take advantage of this to learn more about what's going on, not only in the district, but things that hopefully will be relevant to the Chico Club. I'm hoping we're going to actually have a Rotary 101 session that we can include. That'll be more of a primer, so to speak, for newer members to get a little bit more of the overall picture of what's going on in Rotary as an international organization. So does that help make it more appealing to you?
That was very helpful. Thank you for your answer.
Hey, you're welcome. Thanks for asking.
Hey, Mark, it's Glenn. Got a question.
Hey, Glenn.
For you.
Yeah, you're a Dodger fan. I'll talk to you anyway. Don't worry about it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So, just wondering how the other clubs in the district are doing with the online meetings, and if attendance is still strong like ours is, and just what you've seen so far as you virtually travel around the district. And by the way, it's great to see you more or less in person almost. So,
oh, thanks, Glenn. I mean, at least I feel like I'm closer to you than I've been in a long time. So this is all
right.
good. So I've only been doing this now for about a little over a week in terms of my visits. But what I learned before July 1st and since then is that again, Rotary, all the clubs are meeting via Zoom. Some are still experiencing increasing participation. They're getting folks who really didn't come to the in-person meetings all that often because of health or other concerns. In some clubs, a relatively small percentage, there has been a bit of a drop-off. That's why I'm really concerned that we try to provide ways to make these meetings a bit fresher, a bit more interesting, provide information on how to get in contact with speakers, from literally around the world. Lombard to Sunrise, my home club, over the past few months has had 3 speakers from the United Kingdom, one recently from Slovenia, another from Budapest, one from Australia. The nice thing about the Zoom events is you can bring in speakers from all over the world. So we're trying to also create kind of, I hate to use the term a speakers bureau, but a way that we can share information with speakers who are willing to reach out to other clubs and provide their contact information so that there can be a little bit of spice, a little bit of variety in the speakers available to the clubs throughout the district.
Awesome. And by the way, I just noticed that Rob and Brent have been sold to you for $1 to take on the road. So you're good to go. Take them. We'll be fine. So
great. Okay. Thanks. I thought you were going to say for players to be named later, but that's fine. That's fine. Glenn, thanks so much. Glenn, you did a great job last year. I know that you finished up your presidency in a way that was unexpected to you, but it's obvious that you and Mark had a great transition because the Chico Club hasn't missed a beat, and if anything, you guys are thriving. So great
Well,
job.
thank you
Thanks for
very
the
much.
leadership.
It's been, it certainly wasn't planned. Like I said, I must have been in the bar when they had the How to Lead Your Club during a pandemic meeting or training at Pets, but we found a way to do it, and Mark and his team have really taken it to the next level. So it's great stuff.
That's it. All right. Okay, well, thanks once again, and best wishes as you guys continue on your Centennial Park project. That is really exciting, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again, hopefully all in person on April 1st of next year or some point in the near future. Thanks again, and keep up the great work.
All right, thank you, Mark. One thing I really liked hearing is let's appreciate each other. And I think a great way to do that is to remember that 80% of success is just showing up. So let's appreciate each other by showing up. Mark, we are going to make a contribution in your name to the Centennial Park, which now means that you are allowed to come up here sometime and grab a rake and help us out over there. Okay? All right.